This is an Empty Closet Radio podcast. Get more at facebook.com/emptyclosetradio.
So camp.
Stop laughing at me. It's not even funny.
Yes, it is.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Sam.
And this is The Empty Closet.
The show for everyone, whether you're in the closet
Or out and proud. Or
somewhere in between.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas, Sam. My Santa impression is absolutely terrible.
It is the festive season, so happy solstice, merry Yule, happy Hanukkah, joyous Kwanzaa. Regardless of what you celebrate, it is that time of year.
Yes, even if you believe in the fake St. Nicholas that comes around to our houses. So, good work.
So this is, of course, our last show for 2018, and perfectly timed to be coming to you after you're full of cake and roast and whatever else you eat on the 25th of December.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, so many amazing Christmas foods. There's actually, you know, while we're recording this, we're enjoying a food that is only available at Christmas time. And this is the one season that's full of items like that, where you can only get them in December. Or, if depending on which retailer you go to, potentially like 3 months before December.
So, but the thing I like about this one, so I don't know about you, Andrew, and we've probably talked about this in the past, but I've forgotten because I'm terrible sometimes and my memory is shit. But I've never had an actual Christmas somewhere cold. I've always been in Australia. I've had the start of December somewhere cold. I've done Christmas markets in Europe and stuff. But I've never actually had the day be anything other than either really, really wet or really, really hot. Sometimes some combination of the two.
Well, I have had a really cold Christmas, Sam. It was pretty magic, actually. So my family, they live in the US, in one of the very cold states up the north. It's nearly Canada. I don't know whether I can own Canadian ship. No, probably not. But one day, so we got there and it was very cold, and of course all of the leaves drop off the trees, and it was just looking really bleak and like awful. And then on Christmas morning, I woke up and it had been snowing the whole night. Now the thing about heavy snow is you can't really hear it hitting the roof. And I'd never realised this. So I went to bed and I was didn't hear anything. It was pretty quiet. The whole night slept like a baby. Woke up the next morning. There was so much snow on the ground and it was still coming down. And it was just it was almost like all the things that they say in the movies. It was wow, this is actually happening. This is real. And it was very, very surreal. But that only happened one time when we went to go and visit. So we've had, my family and I have had a number of Christmases over there, and it doesn't always snow, and it doesn't always look bleak. Sometimes you get there and it's been snowing beforehand, and all the snow looks dirty and brown because people drive their cars around on it, and it gets contaminated with dirt.
It doesn't stay pristine.
It does not stay pristine. That's why fresh snow is the most amazing thing ever, and if it's not fresh anymore, then it's ugh, it's just in the way.
The coldest Christmas I ever had was in New Zealand. So it was still summer, but it was summer in New Zealand. So we had jumpers on because we're poor little tropical children at the time. But in New Zealand, it is legal to set off fireworks, but you can only buy them one day a year. So my aunt had bought about 5 boxes of fireworks on that one day and saved them for months and months until Christmas. And she had an empty lot next to her house and then black sand dunes all the way until the ocean. So we still did go to the beach, even though it was actually storming and it was almost sleeting because the rain was so heavy. But we had the beach, and then we went to the empty lot next door and we set off all these fireworks, and we were on this little ridge and there was this valley of this tiny township, and we just filled it with smoke. And that was the closest I've got to that cold Christmas.
I can just imagine all the people in the town being oh, those damn kids setting off their fireworks.
Those Robertses, how dare they?
Yeah, probably a small town. They would have known exactly who it was. Did they rock up the next day and be I've got a bone to pick with you?
No, but people did come around for cake, so maybe they kind of expected it. I don't know. It was a bit strange. It was lots of fun, though. But harking back to originally why I was talking about the heat is that there's so many Christmas products that imitate that snow and all this stuff from the Northern Hemisphere. And that's why what we're having today is a little bit special, because it is pretty specific to Australia. It's ginger beer. It's a local brand of ginger beer, but it's their Christmas ginger beer. So it's got cloves and cinnamon in it, as well as ginger. So spiced ginger beer. And on the bottle, they have all the ginger beer barrels making a Christmas tree shape, which looks really cool.
Yeah, they do special packaging too, don't they? I reckon that they probably make this like all year round and they just stockpile it. They probably have like one production line that just makes this.
I did. The first year I ever found it, I bought 2 4-packs when I saw it, and then I didn't see it again. Like, everywhere, it was just sold out, and I never saw it again. I was so upset. So the next year, the next shop I found it at, I bought every bottle they had on the shelf, which was like 50 bottles. Because I'm like, I'm not going to run out this year. I did not panic this year. So
you did like the equivalent of like what people do when they hear that there's a cyclone coming. You did that when you were like, oh my God, Christmas is coming and this is going to run out.
Yeah, pretty much, except that I actually got all the ginger beer. I was the one who wiped the shelf. I'm very proud.
Empty Closet Radio. Listen to us using your TuneIn radio app on your smartphone. Very smart.
Sam, Christmas is one of those times where every opportunity, maybe it's just my circle of friends, but every opportunity that they get to send me a picture or a meme or a video of a somewhat sexy Santa or Father Christmas, it's like literally I could have done like all of Advent with a different meme every day being sent to me from different people. And I'm like, is Christmas really the holiday that you need to like sex up? Like, really?
See, to me, no, is the short answer. But like, also at the same time, I don't want to police how other people celebrate.
Is this a gay boy thing that like, that Christmas gets turned into like a sexy thing? Like, have you been sent memes of like non-binary or women being like turned into Christmas elves, etc.?
I haven't. It's not something that I tend to see in the rest of the queer community. It is something that maybe cis gay boys participate in more heavily than the rest of our rainbow brethren. But I do see, I've seen it more like satire, like somebody did Merry Thickmas and had a sexy Grinch, and it was a cosplayer and they'd done the costume. Like it was just it was a full Grinch costume and the face from the first movie, and like really well done, and then did a sexy photo shoot with like a Santa's hat in the way or whatever. And it was freaking terrible, but it was meant to be terrible.
Yeah, I've seen a lot that are terrible where I'm like, oh, it's just not, like, maybe there's a thing, like maybe this is like a sub-genre, like it pushes certain people's buttons.
Oh, if you can think of it, there's a kink for it, no doubt. But that rhymed. I did well.
You've said that before, obviously.
I have not said that before, but I will be saying that again. But I do think sometimes this is a time of year that can be very hard for people in our community, because sometimes there is tension with your family or your friends, other loved ones, that you do want to, some people it makes them want to hide part of themselves, and some people it makes them want to be louder about being queer. And maybe there's an element of that, as well as just the fact that all your friends think that you really like sexy men in red.
Well, yeah, okay. My friends do know that I do like sexy men who happen to wear red. It's one of my favourite colours. But I think you're quite right about this. What I have found, and maybe this is just generalisation, or maybe it's like, what's that called? Confirmation bias. That thing you keep telling me about, confirmation bias, where it appears to me that gay men who are in couples tend to be like really loud about having like, quote unquote, the perfect Christmas. Like, with like a very heavily decorated tree that's all on trend and it all looks beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But the single gay men that I know, they're the ones that are like, I used to get into it when I had a partner. Now that it's just me, I don't really bother. I sit somewhere in the middle. Like, I have Christmas decorations up. I did put up a tree this year.
You put up a tree every year. I think it's more, I'm not sure that that's exclusive to any one sexuality or gender, because I think that that rightly or wrongly, it does seem a time of year for groups and for family. And if you're, it's a bit like how if people go traveling, you know, and they're not around their normal social network, then they don't do a big shindig unless they're really, really, really into Christmas, and then they find other people and they have like an orphan's Christmas or something. But people will do something else. But do you ever get anybody who brings the sexy into gifting?
Yes, but they usually do it like as a joke present when I'm like, this was no joke.
Yeah, no, I have sent to two friends some risque / sexy gifts.
Oh my God, is that what's in my present? Oh, you shouldn't have, Sam.
You know, I would, except that I think you'd be too embarrassed to accept something like that from me.
I don't get embarrassed very easily, Sam.
I'll keep that in mind, Andrew. But no, but what I'm one of these people who finds things throughout the year, not necessarily sexy things, but finds things throughout the year and gets excited about, I can give that at a present at the appropriate time, you know. And one of the things I found that I've sent to somebody who's a kinky person is the BDSM colouring book. So it's an adult colouring, you know, like, you know, yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. I love that idea. You know, like, my problem is if I ever see presents like that during the year is I buy them and then I'm like, I will put this in a very safe place until the appropriate time.
And that place stays very safe.
It's exactly what I did this year. I had heaps of presents all bought. I was like, yep, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Do you think I can find them? No.
Empty Closet Radio, facebook.com/Empty Closet Radio.
Can you hear the paper?
I can hear the paper, Sam. Sam, you're opening a present from me. I bought you a couple little things, just nothing much, you know. You know, it's not about the volume of gifts.
It's about the spirit.
It's about the spirit of it, yes. And funnily enough, that's what my mother told me when I was like, Mum, I don't think that Santa is real because he's not in the Christmas story. You know, the Christmas story with the three kings and like the baby in the manger and Joseph and Mary and all that. I was like, there's no Santa in that story, so clearly he's not real. Mum's like, don't tell anyone. And it got me thinking, like, Christmas has got to be, like, the largest conspiracy in the world. Because think about it, we tell kids, we're like, oh, don't lie to people, don't lie, you have to be honest, you know. And then the next thing we're like, so there's this guy that lives in the North Pole and he has trained reindeer that not only are trained to run in a straight line, but also pull a magical sled all around the world in one evening.
I was going to say the flying and the speed is probably more astonishing than the straight line.
Well, yeah, all of it's a pretty tall story, let's be honest. And it's like the biggest conspiracy theory in the world, because not only do we have like parents telling their children, but it's like everybody else in the world makes an effort to perpetuate this myth.
Wait, I have the sweetest story about this that I read it online, and it was talking about Jewish kids, because of course most Jewish households celebrate Hanukkah rather than Christmas, and so they don't have Santa. They don't believe in Santa. They don't think Santa's a thing. And this was a teacher who had young kids in the class, and about a third of the class were Jewish kids, and for some reason all the Jewish kids were in the classroom without any of the others, and they're like 8 years old. And one of them spoke up and said, "It's only Jewish kids here, right?" And they were like, yeah, you know. So you all know the secret, right? You know it's their parents. It's not, Santa isn't real. And they're like, but we can't tell them because it will ruin the magic. And they all knew that other kids really loved this and they didn't want to spoil it for them. And I was like, oh, and that was really, really great.
Did you ever actually believe that Santa Claus literally came down the chimney and put the presents under the tree?
Well, we never had a chimney. We live in the tropics. Like, you know, the trappings of it didn't make any sense. I didn't really question how the presents came to be because I found out by accident quite young. So I don't remember a lot of Christmases before I knew.
Right. I didn't have that many Christmases before I knew either. I was like Detective Nancy Drew. I was like, Santa has the same handwriting as you, Mum.
No, I was in grade 1. I was only just at school, and I woke up and looked out, and my stocking was full, and no, my brother's stocking was full, and mine wasn't there, and then my stocking got hung up, and I was like, Mum, she jumped a mile, and we had a chat, and we talked about how, and I think I did say it makes sense, because it doesn't make sense that Santa could get everywhere, and then I basically finished off with, you better tell Shannon because it's not fair that I know and he doesn't.
I love you. Forever the social justice minded person.
We did also have the conversation of, now some of the other kids in your class might not know yet. Their parents might not want them to know yet. So you don't tell everyone at school.
I don't remember having that conversation.
I got in on the conspiracy early.
I'm pretty sure I ruined it for people. So you've opened up one gift, and it is
wine.
Ah, yes, what to get people when you don't know what to get them. Great. I am such a good present giver. Sam, you've got these other two packages that you're about to open, and we did discuss briefly about maybe you wanted to leave them under the tree so that they would look pretty before opening them.
Fine.
But then I thought you decided against it.
Well, I did. I thought I should open these on air, but actually we're having a really great time chatting, so I should probably leave them for tomorrow. Maybe I'll save it for the next episode to tell you all what I got.
It's not that good a present, Tom. Here's the heads up, it's a terrible present. But anyway, that's why I'm like, leave the wrapping on because it looks pretty.
I do. Now, for those of you who are long-time listeners, you might know that Andrew loves triangles, as it's probably Andrew's favourite shape. And the Christmas card is a very beautiful Christmas card, absolutely covered in tiny triangles. And it is the only way it could be more Andrew is if it was shaped like a triangle as well.
They're tiny, shiny triangles as well.
In tasteful geometric arrangement and with beautiful pastel and complementary colours.
Ah, everybody loves a good Christmas card, though.
I suppose it could be more rainbows.
It could be. I've let the team down.
Now, I have occasionally seen some rainbow, as in queer, Christmas cards, but they're not super common yet. So, with any luck, we'll see more as Christmases go forward.
Well, I know what to get you next year.
Thanks for listening to The Empty Closet, brought to you by 1019 Coast FM Cairns.